What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Geek Fest Live. It's Sunday night, and we're going to talk about some of our fun stuff, favorite things going on right now. Most importantly, the Batman. And we have a very special guest with us tonight who's going to join in. Guy knows like everything about comic books. It's insane. And I love it. I thought I knew a lot. And I know that the Madman knew a lot, who's also here, by the way. And he's very special to me, so you make sure you take care of him. But yeah, this guy, he's over on the Show Boys podcast. You can catch him there. Great show. Go check it out. But I'm going to bring them both on right now. But I just had to give them a great introduction because Mr. Jordan Hoffey knows more about super heroes, super villains, the whole nine yards, and the pages and the movies and stuff like that than probably a lot of people I know. So let me get him on here. First, I want to bring on my partner in crime, the Madman.
Hello, my friend. Good evening.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited to talk to Jordan.
As am I, man. Jordan's one of my favorite humans, and he's so freaking smart. I was like, yeah, I haven't seen the Batman yet. I mean, I'm stoked that I'm going to, but I just want to hear what Jordan has to say. No spoilers from that man, because he knows everything.
That's very true. And actually, before we bring him on, let me make sure I don't forget to do this. So anybody who's watching, warning, there are going to be spoilers for the Batman in this. So let me bring him on. Jordan, welcome to the show, my friend.
How's it going, guys? Can you hear
What's
me?
up, Jordan?
Welcome, brother. We are so excited to talk about the Batman with you.
Yeah, I am too. Obviously, I'm excited, to say the least.
So, have you seen it once? How many times have you seen it so far?
I have seen it once so far.
Same here. Yeah. I know, Case, you haven't had a chance to see it yet, but we have talked, and you are cool with talking about things.
Absolutely. Nothing really spoils it for me until I see it. I don't really know what the story is. So you can tell me all the things in there. It doesn't matter. Until I see it, it's not real.
Oh, excellent.
Good. And you know what? I think that there's something to that too. Like a lot of people are so worried about having things spoiled for you. And like I get the No Way Homes. I get like how hard they try and stuff like that. But I don't think that should ever be the case with every movie. Because
Probably not.
When people come to me, I got my pops on my desk and stuff. When I get movies spoiled for me, because I don't care about spoilers. You can tell me anything; it doesn't bother me. It actually makes me want to go see it more. You know, so
that's like when a movie gets leaked. In some ways, it's like some people see that as a potential benefit. More people will go see it in theater because they see the movie and they're like, oh, I want the theater feeling for this movie instead of this weird, choppy version.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I had to go see that. I was supposed to go see it. It was my kid's birthday on the 3rd, and that's when it came out, that night, Thursday night showing. And we went out, we did the whole birthday thing, and I was going to go see it on Friday just to, like, not take away from his day. And then, like, it was getting towards bedtime, and it was just like, I got to go. Like, sorry, kid. I got to go see this. He was all about it, though. He was like, tell me how it is when you get back. 3 hours later, though,
right,
he was asleep. So let's first of all, AJ's here. I want to say, hey, thank you, AJ, for joining in, my friend. Keep them coming. Join in the conversation. We love you, buddy. And it was amazing. And now here's the thing: my favorite Batman movie is 1989 Batman.
Yeah,
it still is today.
Yep.
But I will say it's not the best Batman movie. I'm good enough of a fan to say, okay, it's not the best, but it is damn good and great, and I love it. Would we say, and I kind of have been, is The Batman the best Batman movie now? What do you guys say? Jordan, I want to start with you.
Is it the best Batman movie? Probably. I would actually describe it as the most comic book movie I've ever seen, right? Like you feel like you were, I guess, next to The Watchmen. The Watchmen was almost literally page for page, but this really set the tone through the narration, to the grittiness, to the noir feels of it. It had a little bit of horror elements to it. It was a Batman comic brought to life.
Oh yeah, and the horror fan in me in that scene with the mayor in the beginning,
right?
And then he walks past, and you just see from the TV light the Joker standing in the darkness.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my
Riddler,
god, that was a great shot. Oh
yeah, honestly, like my fiance Kelly, she was like, and I was like, what? And then I was Like I saw it. I saw him right after that.
It was so good. And a lot of these shots, Matt Reeves did a fantastic job. It looked like panels of a comic book. You're right.
Yeah. And
I love that about it. So so we asked, like, is it the best? And now, do you think that a movie has to be, and this for both of you guys, I want to hear what you guys think. Do you think a movie has to like be close to the comic book storylines or arcs to be a good comic book movie?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Jordan. I'm curious.
No, I don't think it does at all. There's a lot of reinvention that comic books have. When a lot of people, when they say that, oh, this is so close to the comic books, or this is a comic book movie, you could read. There's some of Neil Adams' best comic books, Batman in particular, where when he wasn't fighting an actual one of his main villains. There's some paranormal ones. There's ones where he's fighting just simple bad guys. But think about The Long Halloween. It was one storyline where he fought the Holiday Killer, and it was a mystery noir, and it's one of the greatest Batman stories. Just collectively, as a Batman fan group, they'll say together that it's one of the best storylines that Batman's ever had. So you don't have to follow a particular legacy character. As long as you have the Batman and you have the Gotham and you have the elements of that, everything else will write itself as long as it's put together right.
Yeah, I agree. And that's something that I think 89 Batman really proved, is that you don't need to follow the specific storyline. Mm-hmm. You just need to make sure you have the villains, make sure you have all the bits and pieces, and make sure he does a little bit of detective work and some form of intimidation. You're pretty much covered. You can't kill anyone either. That's crap. I'm tired of that. We get rid of that. That's Batfleck is done. Think of the past.
Keaton killed some too.
That's true.
Not everyone made it out of that factory. I don't think.
Incidentally, I mean, that was.
I think we chucked that one
under a steel beam at that moment.
We chucked that one up to the Batman Begins rule, where it's just like, if you don't save yourself, though, it's really your fault.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I want to say what's up to Buckteeth Bandit joining in. Thanks again for coming by, man, watching. So, as you guys know, this is an open forum show, so let's talk about it. We were talking the Batman. We're going to talk about quite a few superheroes tonight because we have Jordan here. I would love to get into a lot of stuff that's coming on, but primarily we're going to talk about the Batman. We've seen it. We want to know. We just want to analyze it a bit, right? Like, kind of see how everything holds up. I would love to talk about. First, I got to say right off the bat, that bat signal is probably my favorite.
It was cool, wasn't it? It was very nonlinear. It was rugged. I honestly, I know that they actually showed the spotlight itself with the symbol on there, but this is where I want to see it again. I didn't get a chance to see what they actually had laying on top of it. Was it literally just that logo drawn on there, and it came off that rugged looking?
It was. So it had the shutters on it, and it looks like it was probably by Gordon, beaten down. So it was bent in to look like
it's so cool. Signal. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it makes sense because I love that because even in the movie when Gordon is like, you're like the only one I trust, I liked that factor of it and it played well to it, I think.
A lot of people don't realize this, but Jim Gordon, he's based off of Dick Tracy. He's supposed to be an uncorruptible cop based in a very corrupted city, and he really has no one to turn to other than himself. Well, they obviously gave him Batman in this aspect, but yeah, Jim Gordon is literally Dick Tracy brought in, and it's so cool. He's been one of my I don't know. It's I've always stared at Gordon as much as I looked at Alfred and judged who's my favorite Gordon, who's my favorite Alfred. I know a lot of people do that, but I like Dick Tracy too. That's probably why I have that
that makes
angle
sense.
at it.
Yeah. Dick Tracy was amazing. I mean, bad guys like Flat Top, get out of here.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
Prove
I think that's an entity that needs to be redone.
Absolutely. And not to mention, Batman himself, his rogue of villains are inspired by Dick Tracy. You just named them off right there. Flat Top, Prune Face. No. You got Two-Face, you have the Riddler. Right. It's all the same stuff.
Yeah, no, heavily too, but I mean, it all works. And in this movie, the fact that we got a real detective, we have in the animated seen him be a detective, in movies and TV show. But in this, we really get to see essentially, and I've been comparing it a lot to Seven.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times actually.
And it's that vibe of it, and the fact that it's an actual investigation. You actually have to take the steps. He has to question people. I love the Penguin in this and exactly what they did with him. I'm on record as saying that I'm not the biggest Batman Returns fan.
I don't know why it's number 2 for me.
For a lot of people, and I get it, but I feel like it went too cartoonish.
With the follow-up of Schumacher, I think it's really hard to say that.
I don't know those movies. I don't know what you're talking about. So, no, and that's the thing. I like Batman Returns more than either one of those. Don't get me wrong. Like, it went off the rails cartoonish, but I think that's where it started with Batman Returns. Because the first one, as it was cartoonish in elements, like Nicholson's bad guy was very much, he was a bad guy. Like he shined through, and he wasn't like even at being called the Joker, he didn't like stand out as like somebody who like you wouldn't take serious if he was in a room with you.
Right. Yeah, and he's also really the only Joker that we've seen live action. I guess maybe Gotham did it. I didn't really pay close attention to Gotham, but he's just a mass killer.
Yeah.
He just murders tons of people in the street, and also in that really cool diner bar place they were at. I forget the name of it. They had the art museum. Did they ever give the name of it?
I don't think they did.
I don't know.
I don't remember the name of it. I'm just going to say Gotham.
I got locked into the Prince being played while he was dancing around.
Right. It's on our Halloween playlist, actually.
Yes.
Which is the most cartoonish thing he does, but I get it because he's insane. And he still does it in a way that's like, if this dude was dancing around while I'm sitting here having dinner, I'm not cool with this. Like, this is uneasy.
His villains were into it too. They were dancing and having a good time, or his henchmen, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Bob.
I think Bob being shot is really what sells it for me with the Joker, because like he will kill literally
zero attachment.
But then you get to that Batman Returns, and it's like, so you mean to tell me in this first movie we just watched Batman beat up literal ninjas, and then like Oswald Cobblepot's gonna give him a problem? Like, take that dude up to the top of a building and just like see if he can fly. That's one of the
issues is he turned him into, like, Cobblepot was able to turn himself into the heart. Like, he was pulling at everyone's heartstrings. So if Batman had done anything negative to him, he would have died a martyr, been
somehow.
War was me and oh so sad. So
okay, then Bruce Wayne needs to pay for him to just go away. That's it. Like, you can do something that it was too cartoonish in a way that was like, come on. Like,
was it the Christopher Walken Max Shrek? Is that what pushed it over the edge?
No, he was like more so like the Joker. He was like the villain that was like more like, all right, he's menacing. Then you have
he's a creepy looking guy. It's weird. He's not like a bad looking guy, but he's a weird looking. I don't know. There's just something creepy about his face.
And then he's all intense when he's looking at you, like, "Hey, guy, I don't know what you
downsize your face with a soldering iron, right?"
Yeah, you truly believe that about him. But not to get tied up on that, but that was why for me the Penguin has never been. The animated series did a pretty good job, but like the Penguin for me was always kind of like just a silly villain. And I'm not counting the comics here, so let me take that out.
You're not wrong. There's a reason why he's not used a whole lot in comics these days.
Yeah,
and it's primarily because of the point you're making, and he's used as a. If there was anyone, and this movie did a good job with this too, and probably had some focus on this idea, but if there's anyone that's a new type of Falcon character, it's the Penguin.
Yeah,
he's got the giant nightclub. He doesn't always mess around with Batman. He just does what he needs to when he needs to, mainly for money rather than destroying Gotham or murdering people for no reason.
Yeah, and that's why Gotham, and actually AJ had just written this, and I was going to say Gotham now is probably my second favorite version of the Penguin. Now, but Colin Farrell blew it out of the water. Now, with that being said, though, real quick, got to say, absolutely adored the Batman, especially the first 15 minutes were peak Batman. the first 15 minutes were awesome. So well timed. So again, spoilers, everybody, whoever's watching who hasn't seen it, but I think everybody has so far, but future down the line if you're watching this. They tell 3 stories of 3 different sets of bad guys doing something. And then each one of them ends up looking up and seeing the skylight. And they all kind of like look into the darkness like, is he there? And he's only at one. And that one was really intense and so well done. He walked, even the way he walked out. Like,
He had almost like, I told Kelly that it almost reminded me of Michael Myers' intimidation factor. Just walking into the room where you're like, okay, what is this guy for real? Is he, what's he going to do? And then he just takes your head off with like a punch. It's that is probably the first 10 or 15 minutes of that movie is probably my favorite opening to any superhero movie as of right now. It's my favorite. The what you say with the shadows is on point. My mouth dropped when they got to that point. The guy had the money in his hand from robbing the store. He was making the run for it, and then his path was taking him down a dark alley, and it's not worth it to him. Yep. And then the guy with the spray can doing the graffiti, the spray can rolls into the dark. He's like, you know what? It's enough for the night. I'll stop now.
Yeah.
And so for Batman to say that the Shadow is his army, like he's exactly right. These people are fearful of the idea that he might be there, and that's Batman.
It's it was just so, and then to use that again with when you see the Riddler hiding in the shadows, and just that yin and yang and how they use the shadows.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, the back and forth was so well done between these 2 characters. I absolutely adored everything about it. And now this is probably let me just double check and think about that one. Again, when I say this, I'm talking about a live action. I'm not talking about the comic books, and I will specify if if the animated series and such stand out for me. But this might be my favorite Riddler. I think it makes sense. Like he was so good in this, and this is what you do with the Riddler, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's no Riddler is one of those characters, and the Penguin might be on this aspect too. And this is maybe Matt Reeves' angle with this whole entire movie was he picked 2 villains to how they've been depicted. There's really nowhere to go but up, just by doing it slightly different. And they not trashing on Gotham. Gotham wasn't for me. It really wasn't for me. But I respected what they were trying to do. It was a honestly, it's kind of a James Gunn move. It's you take characters that like it's kind of just been down in the dumps for a while, and you just reinvent them a little bit.
Yeah, and he did such a great job with it. And I mean, he took from so many awesome sources. Yeah, as we saw, the Long Halloween it wasn't so much taken from that, but it was definitely a reference, especially starting on Halloween.
That, and also the fact that he went to different, crime bosses to investigate the umbrella situation that's happening here. In Long Halloween, he didn't just go in and beat everyone up. He went and talked to these people and tried to get some information off them so he could find out who's doing the killings. And they did that obviously with this too, and interaction with the police. Honestly, that's another one of my favorite pieces of this whole movie is his interaction with the police and how they don't take him serious. Some are scared of him. It's just, I can tell you this. It's something much like seeing Ben Affleck being a Batman that's interacting with superpowers. I never thought I would ever see a Batman just in live action that way.
Yeah.
And in the same light, I've never thought I would see a Batman in this light either that Matt Reeves just did with him. Acting with the cops this way in a noir situation and more of a Bruce Wayne that is more obsessed with Batman than himself in a lot of ways. He doesn't care anything about himself at all. He's completely recluse from it, and he wants nothing to do with the Wayne Foundation, the Wayne family. All he cares about is devoting his life to Batman. Yeah. It's reckless, obviously, because Bruce Wayne and Batman work hand in hand. It's Batman, unfortunately, isn't a lot as much without the money.
But
funding.
I like how they built on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can tell he's going to become the Bruce Wayne we know.
Absolutely.
And that was a big argument that I had with a lot of people, because they're just like, he's Bruce Wayne sucks, blah, blah, blah. And I was saying that too, but then I started thinking, I'm like, but this is the beginning. He doesn't have Bruce Wayne yet. He is Batman. Mm-hmm. So for him to come in and by the end of it, and again, I have to keep saying spoilers because I don't want to give anything away. But for anybody who doesn't want to know, but when the entire city is flooded and they're stuck in essentially Madison Square Garden, I think they called it Madison Square Gotham.
Did they really? I missed that too. It's hilarious.
I think it looks just like the front of Madison Square Garden too.
That's good.
But when they're in there and it's all flooded and everybody's like, the whole big wave comes in and just like takes everything out. And he makes that choice. Like after he sees the one Riddler cult member, say, I am vengeance. And he's realized he's been saying this the entire time. Catwoman's been calling him vengeance the whole time. This is what he believes. This is what he is. I'm just vengeance. This is what I am. And he hears that. And then like you see Robert Pattinson's acting in it is fantastic, because you see the light bulb click where it's like, I can't be that guy. And then he absolutely steps out, and because there's now everything's flooded, everybody's trapped, and an electrical wire is hanging overhead, and he just like after being shot straight up in the chest by a shotgun at close range and getting his ass kicked and everything else, he just jumps and he cuts it and electrocutes himself and falls down. And I think that's where you see the birth of it. When he hits that water and then he comes back out, and then it's all about saving the people of Gotham.
Yeah, I never really thought of it like that. It's where he lights the flare and everything. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And he literally leads everybody out.
Mm-hmm. I am super excited to find out because I just bought my tickets. So
nice.
I'm going to go right now.
Click.
And I don't mean later when we're done with the show. I mean, I love you guys. And you have now convinced me to go see the movie right now.
Is it playing right now?
Right now at 10 o'clock. So I'm going to go because it's 30 minutes away. I love you guys. Thank you for convincing me to go see this movie. I'll let you know how I feel about it in about 3 hours.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later then, man.
That's funny.
I love you guys.
Love you, buddy.
Good seeing you.
Take care. I think sold. We sold Casey on it so much that he left the show.
That is hilarious. That's crazy. Has that ever happened before?
That's never happened before. And I don't think he's been to a theater since before COVID.
Oh.
He has been working a lot. So like I'm not making assumptions on him or anything. So it's just like he hasn't been able to go.
Well, then I wonder if it's the movie that brought him there or the nachos. He's like, you know what? I got to have nachos. It's time. I'll see you guys later.
For me, it would definitely be the nachos. It's like, okay, I'll join you. For a second there, when he was like, I got to go see this movie, I was like, I'll come. Can I get nachos? Just leave you here to talk about the movie.
Right. Yeah. Actually, real quick, the lighting in here is so weird. It's adding like this like slow motion to me.
I kind of love it. You kind of feel Batman-ish, but I understand if you want to change.
The audio's coming through okay, though?
Yeah, you sound great, man.
Okay. Well,
let's get to some of the comments. So AJ says, I was hoping that Selena would have said, yeah, I'm a Catwoman when her and Bruce were talking in there. That would have been funny. That would have been classic. Yeah, absolutely.
It could have fit, too, thinking about it.
Yeah, Gotham did. Yeah, we talked about that. Gotham Square Garden. Okay. All right.
It was really close then.
Yeah, I imagined Madison Square Gotham in my head. I don't know why, but yeah, that makes more sense. And Buck T says, "What would you rate? What would you rate this movie in this? Like in the 13 live action performances of Batman?"
So there's one scene that I would change. There's a little bit of dialogue I would change, so it doesn't make it a perfect 10 for me. The 10 is so hard to get, right?
Yeah.
Heck, even Winter Soldier is like can't even totally get there. It'd be a solid 9, maybe a 9. Yeah, it'd probably be a 9. Yeah, it could be a 9.5. I got to see it one more time. It's definitely, it can't be a 10 because of like I said, while I was watching it, I rolled once, or I was just kind of like, I wouldn't have done that with that. But that in particular is the parachute scene.
That one, yeah.
He would have been. His body would have been broken.
It was funny because it's funny you mention that because in my review, I that was one of the reasons I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Okay,
but so it would equate to a 9 out of 10 here for me too.
Yeah,
because as soon as, and I said it out loud in the theater, as soon as he hits the top of that bus after it gets caught on the overpass, and then he just rolls and like I said out loud for everybody here is like Batman's dead. He's dead. Like there's no way you survive. I'm not. Superman is the only one. If he did that, I'd be like,
he would have went through the whole thing. I was. That was. I don't know what they were thinking with that. It is what it is. Obviously, it's. I mean, you can't make a perfect movie all the time. It's okay. But that's just when I watch a movie and something sticks out like that. That always just knocks it down a peg. But it's.
That was for me. That was the reason that takes a point away from that is. Because the buildup was so precise and perfect. Having to hit Gordon to escape out of that room and running from all of those cops just to have to do the squirrel suit. Yeah. The whole buildup was perfect because they were like one of the dudes jumps on the gargoyle and like almost goes over. They have to grab him because they're desperately trying to get this guy. And then I didn't mind the squirrel suit because I was like, that makes sense. I was like, if you're being more realistic, it makes sense that he would have a squirrel suit or he'd set up his cape so it can do that. I believe that more than the hang glider.
Oh, yeah, especially for the speed factor, right?
Yeah.
But one of my favorite things is he didn't look like he doesn't seem like he's seasoned at heights as much. Yeah. And that's okay. You could tell he was like, well, I got to use this thing now or never. I got to test it out really well here. And he didn't have the utmost confidence on his face when he was zipping it up. But it was and I think we said this driving home, he could have, had the parachute come out and he surpassed the car. It got caught on the back of a car and it pulled him back into the windshield of that car. Way more believable, easy played out, but it's, the movie was they did so many things so right that I can't harp on it forever with that.
Oh yeah, and I even said it too. Like for me, like that's a great idea, yours. But I was like, it's surrounded by water. It's essentially an island. Like, couldn't we have him go towards the water and like get hurt because he crash lands into the water or something at a high speed? But at least like you can get away with like he crashed in the water and now he's like goes home wet or something. But yeah, again, like you said, there's so many great things about this, and even the build up to that scene, and even the flying part of it. So, like, really, it's just the parachute that really pulled me out of it. But
no, you're right.
It's nothing, and I do like that. That's a great observation I didn't think about was that he is more of a ground level guy because he's always on his motorcycle. I loved that aspect of it. Yeah, that he change back into like the big coat and.
Right. It's the surveillance. The surveillance he did is like just kind of like as a thug in the streets, and he had his outfit with him to turn into it. He didn't swing into action. He walked into the room every single time, almost every single time. Obviously, he jumped by the end and had that awesome fall attack. But mostly, he walks into the room and he shows his confidence. Yep. And that's huge, obviously, for Batman. So it's. Doesn't have to be like breaking through a chandelier every time coming down.
One thing I was worried about for this was the car chase. That once I saw it, I'm like, nope, one of the best car chases I've ever seen.
I know I keep saying this is one of my favorite parts of the movie, but I'm going to probably keep saying it. That build up with the car, the base and the charge of the car, and everyone was just stunned looking at this like monstrosity of a vehicle. Everyone's like, what in that? Like, they knew it was him, but they didn't even want to start firing at him because they're like, what the hell is this? I got to see how this goes. And Penguin, it snapped where he's like, I got to get the F out of here. He's here for me. And so.
He built a jet car out of a Charger, and it was brilliant and everything. And AJ, it's funny because AJ and I seem to have the right idea at the right times. How intense was he hearing about? Yeah, and in the theater, that surround sound with the revving up, and the lighting up, I was just like, oh my god! But that whole scene was just they didn't care. Like crashing into trucks, like, and he was bursting through those big like cement tubes that we use for. He was like busting through them. Like, what did you make?
Right.
What is this?
Yeah. How did that win? That was one thing too. He had a little bit of. There would have been a lot of deaths on that highway, probably with the explosions and the. But I guess he was a man on a mission.
Yeah, he was straight up like, this is the Penguin's fault. But T says, I've seen it 3 times and I agree there's not a thing I would change besides that scene. I think this is nearly perfect for a Batman film. I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing I really loved is we don't see Bruce and Bruce's parents die. We don't see Thomas and Martha Wayne die. Finally, it seems.
Right. But it's real quick. It's a lot like Spider-Man Homecoming. You know the origin. The character's iconic enough that it's part of American mythology. We all know what happened. Let's just here we go. Right?
Yeah.
And Snyder did a decent job just doing a real quick thing on it. Like opening up with like the drama of it and everything. And that was fine. Because you then skip to the older Batman, right? So like that was acceptable. But it was Spider-Man Homecoming that really established that you don't need to show anything of the origin because we know what happened. Yeah. And we'll just see what happened. Maybe explore it later. I hope they don't.
Well, if Snyder's made sense in a way, even though I hate the scene, like the fact that they didn't really show it in '89 Batman, I like too. Like they did, but they didn't. Like, but it still haunted them. So like, and that was like the first movie back. So I was like, that's fine, that's forgivable. But it seemed like every movie after that they just showed it. But in Snyder's, it made sense because they were just setting up the Martha scene, which I hate. And it was not well done in my opinion. But I got it there. I forgave it. I forgave them for showing it there, I should say. But they said
in opinions on the scene aside, and again, I've defended it, and there's things about it I hate too. But I always ask people this question though: did you ever realize that both their names are Martha?
Oh yes, because they pointed it out in the animated show once.
Okay, I've never noticed it. And somehow it never came across my desk. And when they did it in the movie, I was like, "Holy mother!" Yeah, literally. Like I did not know that or didn't think about it.
Justice League episode they call it. Like I think it was Wonder Woman. It was somebody was just like, yeah, they're both raised by Marthas. And they made a joke about like how old the name Martha is. That's and funny. I was like, oh yeah, that is true. So like when he said it, like it still like was like, yeah, it's true. I mean, I get what they're going for. It just, I don't know. I have a lot of problems with the theatrical version of that movie.
It almost makes you wonder, like, why didn't he stab Superman quicker? He's like, you said my mom's name, you son of a bitch. Never stab. You making fun of me?
I'm not a mama's boy. I will say though, I am like with this movie, I am so excited for what they're building because
it's the GCU.
Yeah. And they are doing it. And to get into that in just a sec, but like to say another spoiler here that Martha Wayne was Martha Arkham.
Yeah.
And to tie that down as like founders of Gotham. I was like, this is intense. This is insane. Like, is that a part of comic book lore?
On Earth 1. Yeah, on Earth 1. Yeah, okay. Actually, Kelly pointed that out to me in particular. But yeah, it's on Earth 1. So it did. 1 was like the theme, I guess, for this movie. They had a lot of Batman Year 1 and a lot of Batman Earth 1. And it's Earth 1 really. Earth 1 even went into. This is kind of Batman Returns-ish, but Oswald got into politics, and he ran against, I think, Bruce for mayor. I can't remember. But, yeah.
Jeez. Well, I mean,
it happened.
It worked, and, I mean, they alluded to Hush.
Right.
Because it wasn't because from what I remember, and I have to go see it again, and everything I was reading, the reporter's name was Elliot, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. It's his first name wasn't Thomas, but his last name was Elliot, and then they referred to the political money as hush money.
Yeah, And they showing us too. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. So overall, like, I'm very excited to see kind of where this is going to go forward, because they are going to do a couple more movies. Yes. But one thing they did mention, Matt Reeves has come out and said it, and I actually, if you guys follow me on TikTok, I did an update about this, but Barry Keoghan came in at the end. We don't see his face, but we know who he is, and he has been verified by Matt Reeves that was the Joker. Matt Reeves also came out and said in Variety in an interview, he has no plans or intention of bringing the Joker back.
Correct.
So anybody who's like kind of falling on like, oh, he's going to be the big bad. Supposedly they're setting up a TV show called Arkham Asylum. And I think he's going to have more to do with that, from what was being alluded to in that interview.
Yeah, absolutely. You're exactly right.
Yeah, and then the Penguin is also getting his own show. So it's interesting that they're going to really be pushing this world. And I like kind of what they're doing, because they didn't have this intention when Ben Affleck was going to direct a Batman movie back in the day.
No, they definitely did not. They really wanted to they wanted to introduce more villains, I think, in that aspect, especially Deathstroke, obviously. And they wanted to explore Arkham. But the real question is, Matt Reeves is really into the whole grounded idea, less superpowers, but what do you draw the limits on, right? Is Man-Bat a possibility through like genome therapy? Bane. Look, I think he took Bane venom to recover from the shotgun shot. It was a glowing green vessel.
Yeah, that's been heavily alluded to in Easter eggs too, and that could be really interesting, especially if you're setting up an Arkham Asylum where
there's what that's why I've been referring to it as a GCU. It's just, instead of a giant DCU, it's just going to be Gotham. It's going to be a Gotham universe, and they're going to dig into that with the cops. Hopefully they don't go too deep with the Bat family through this, but
I don't
you don't need to
anymore. I want to see I want to see more movies with Pattinson. I want to see where they take this. I hope it's still like this, like film noirish. I love that.
I was actually hoping when the streets are flooded, maybe like a killer croc with like dolphin out of the water.
That's very funny.
I'm glad I didn't do that, obviously, but it's you wonder what could is Solomon Grundy under the streets? Who the hell knows?
I'm anxious to see where they go with it. I mean, you've destroyed Gotham City. It's like, how do you not just leave at that point?
Right. There's actually a story called No Man's Land where I think they're going to go towards, and in No Man's Land, a section of Gotham becomes just inhabitable. And it becomes just like almost like not even part of the United States anymore. And it becomes a power grab. And different villains fight for it. Different mob bosses fight for it. So you could see just crazy stuff come out of the woodwork here.
Let's see how Batman works that into it. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
And I've heard that, but I have never actually read No Man's Land. I would like to. It's one that has just eluded me, but
it's a series. It's scattered. There are a lot of mini stories, but it's you might have even read some without even knowing it. To be honest with you, but it's a cool event, and it's actually, there's a game I play called HeroClix, and they have a No Man's Land theme set that came out years ago. It's just such a cool set, but
that's awesome.
It's besides the point.
And it'd be interesting to see how that goes and like how they move everything around, because I do like that they've set it up with a new mayor already. Yeah, he's going to be more accepted as Batman now as a hero. So. Anxious to see where this goes. AJ says, aside from his parents, Alfred was non-existent as well, much more focused on Batman. I was okay with that. I didn't mind that as much because if they do set it up, he can be more existent in the future. And Gotham did a version. I know he doesn't like the show, but it was cool.
Of who was it?
Gotham, I guess, did a version maybe of No Man's Land.
Oh, you know what? I think they did.
Yeah, it wasn't there at one point. I did watch it, but it's like it kind of was like one of those things that was in one ear out the other. Where a lot of villains got out, like superpower villains, and they were I don't know, metahumans, as they call them.
Right.
Well, thank you, Shoots and Blabber. I appreciate it. That's Devin over at Shoots and Blabber. Appreciate you watching.
Nice.
So
I like the name.
Yeah. Mick.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be. For this episode, it's Mick Gotham. So with this, like we love the movie. It is a great movie. This is the year of the bat. Not
Seems
literally.
that way.
I think it's the year of the dragon, but it's definitely the year of the bat in a lot of ways, or the tiger rather.
Tiger, yeah.
So my 5-year-old taught me that. I didn't know that.
Does he play Overwatch?
No, he learned in kindergarten.
Overwatch celebrates every Chinese New Year, and all their characters' skin themes are based around whatever the year it is. So this year was the tiger.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, he made a lantern and it has a tiger on it. So
that's awesome.
That's how I learned it. But and I appreciate that. But it's definitely the year of the bat because we're getting Batman. We're getting two more versions of Batman this year. We're getting Michael Keaton coming back in The Flash and Batgirl. We're getting that Super Pets movie. We're getting a version of Batman, which is animated. We don't have to talk about that one, but it is happening.
I'm excited. It's Ace the Bat Hound. Batman's actually in it. You're right. Yeah, he is in it.
And it's Keanu Reeves playing him.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, I mean, I'm going to take the kids to see that.
Ben Affleck's going to be in the Flash movie as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're getting 4 Batmans this year.
Yeah, smoke them if you got them, Mick. Smoke them if you got them.
So how do you feel about this much Batman?
I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Which Batman are you the most excited for?
The lineup that we had, I think what Matt Reeves was trying to do, I was most excited for because it was something completely brand new. I think with Keaton, I'm excited to see some of the bring me back moments, nostalgia stuff, and I'm excited to see what he does, like how his morals are modern day, or not modern day, but I guess this far in the future. I'm excited to see Ben Affleck's Batman also. Like, who the heck knows if what kind of Batman he'll even be in that. It may not even be the Snyderverse Batman. It could be. Yeah, I mean, who knows? It could be anything.
It is sad that they're kind of writing off those characters, but I am excited for Keaton to be back.
Yeah, well, Peacemaker. You saw the finale of Peacemaker, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they were obviously acknowledging Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot. So they might have been the shadows, but it was obviously them. Doing this for Ben Affleck's Batman, you just for all we know, Ben Affleck's Batman becomes Red Death, and he's the main villain of the movie, right? Like it could be anything.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess in order for that to happen, he'd have to kill a Barry Allen and get his powers. But there's another Barry Allen in this movie, right?
From what I understand, and this is just this is speculation. I cannot confirm nor deny this, but I have been hearing a lot of leaks and rumors that the other Barry Allen that we're seeing in this is the villain.
Yeah, like a Reverse Flash somehow, or maybe Red Death. Who knows? No, it can't be
interesting.
As a Bruce Wayne.
But I am excited for it.
Yeah, I just wonder. I guess that becomes like a creativity question. Like, what would make you not want to do the Red Death? What would make you not want to do Reverse Flash? I don't know. And those are it's rhetorical questions. They could be answered in the movie. This is just like from the outside looking in. Like there's nothing better than seeing a nice solid Reverse Flash that should be played by Matthew McConaughey. Just saying.
I love it. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Buck T says, I think the sequel is definitely going in a direction of No Man's Land. It will definitely be more action heavy. I agree with that. I think you should go a little more action heavy after this, but please keep that investigative theme. I don't mind adding a little action because if it is No Man's Land, there's going to have to be a lot more fighting than there. But just based on the premise alone. But I mean, as long as they keep up with that, the true detective, he's the best detective of them all.
Yeah.
If they incorporate Hush, it would definitely continue the detective theme, as they should. And that would be very interesting, like the reporter's brother or something is
Yeah, and to be honest with you, there's no reason why you can't have the No Man's Land power struggle happening in the background. That could be on the news while Batman's doing the whole Hush thing, one-on-one with it. That's not that he's not in any place to handle a giant war right now of a bunch of just crazy mob bosses. That could, and you could address it in the third one eventually. Maybe that pulls him into it all the way. There's a lot of different angles you can do. It could become more of a scenario that's happening around him while he's trying to get through the next story with everything. Anything's possible.
I mean, and thinking about it too, Bruce Wayne was a boy when that reporter was alive. So if you make his son somebody who watched his father get killed and blames the Waynes, he spent his entire life, just like Batman, Bruce Wayne spent his entire life to build up to be Batman, a plan to take out Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, and it's set up perfectly because Bruce Wayne's not involved. You could imagine like the next one, all of a sudden, Bruce Wayne looks at TV and sees Bruce Wayne on TV, just doing a whole speech and going through everything, like a slick-haired back Bruce Wayne, the one that he's like, it's obviously not me because look at me, I'm a mess. Once he gets through it, he's like, this is the type of Bruce Wayne that can make a difference, and I almost let a fraud do it. I need to do it myself. It's just all set up so good.
Yeah, and I would love it if they, like you said, over 3 movies, they pull out Hush and what this is and where this is going, who's pulling the strings, and kind of do bust through it. Don't show us until the end, basically as Hush did, and even the Riddler can be involved. Like this guy was basically bankrolling the Riddler to go and do this stuff. So I mean, it would be a lot of fun for
Very
sure.
Scream 3-ish, right?
And
all I needed was a crazy person to just pull off my crazy murders, get everyone stirred up.
Yeah, you have to meet a lot of people in this woman's life and convince them, like, hey, you're a sociopath. Do this.
Yeah, right.
I thought I saw Mr. Freeze Easter egg in Riddler's apartment. It looked like the Freeze helmet. I'd have to see it again. I don't remember. But possibly. I mean, there's a lot of Easter eggs in this. They even had the Shakespeare bust.
They did, didn't they? Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Plus Pattinson and a triple roll Hush Batman. To be fair.
Triple stamp and double stamp.
Oh my God. He could pull it off. I think he's a great actor.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
I really want to see Reeves tackle Scarecrow. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if
I need him to do Mad Hatter.
That'd be fun.
I just need to I don't know. There might be too much of a Disney element, obviously, to ever do him in this whole aspect, but I don't know. I just think it'd be great.
It could be really well. I mean, he could play a crime boss. That would be amazing. We're going for that for the power grab. Now, we were talking about different Batman. I want to get into the MCU a little bit and get your feelings on the movies that are coming up. But before we do, you are the guru, man. I said it, and I'm sticking by it. Give us some comics, like some Batman reading material that you think are essential to read. Just
are you trying to like just pan it into this, or just Batman in general?
Just what you think.
Absolutely, The Long Halloween is a must have. You could be not even a comic book fan and enjoy that book if you like detective books. Neil Adams' Silver Age and Bronze Run, all really, really good. New 52 Batman is amazing. Honestly, that's what introduces the Court of Owls storyline. I would really, really, really recommend that. Tackle in No Man's Land at this point. What a great time to start diving into the different depths of that. And Batman Detective Comics number 668. Oh no, I gotta think here for a second. Give me 1 second.
No problem.
I got it flowing through my head now. It's the Hush comic First Begins.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would definitely. That's a trade I think everybody should own.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a good paperback too. But
that's my
Batman number 609. Batman number 609.
Okay.
It's a Jim Lee illustrated it. It's phenomenal. It's really, really good.
That is Jim Lee's work on Hush is some of my favorite artwork of all time.
Yeah. It's honestly it's just obviously Jim Lee, but his '90s Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite artwork of all time too. He and Neil Adams are my two favorite
Nice.
illustrators, probably.
Well, now I got to ask you this then: what's your favorite drawn Spider-Man?
Oh man, I hate being. It's because of the innovation of what it did for the character, but it's McFarlane.
McFarlane was great. I love McFarlane's work on it. I still go back to Ditko. It's so simple, but I love it.
Yeah, it'll always be classic and amazing. It's just a spaghetti web where you can see the webbing coming at you. That's just the dynamic that, I mean, I guarantee every artist was probably like, holy crap, why didn't we think about that? You know, it's just seeing the intertwine of the web so you can see it coming at the screen. Just so good. So good.
Yeah. Truly hope Hush is the main villain in the sequel. Hush needs to be way more mainstream. I agree, but again, I agree with what Jordan said. Why not even just introduce him in the third one? You make it the big bad in the third one or something. Keep the story going, do it right, and it would be really well done. And for anybody who doesn't know Hush and just wants to watch these Batman movies,
right,
that would be a great reveal. You know?
Right.
But all right, so before we wrap things up, I want to get into a little bit of a conversation about MCU because comic books movies this year, I mean, they've been going on for like years and years and years. I can't say that, but it seems like it's very heavy this year.
I think there was a lot of work being done during the pandemic, which was arguably the year of the bat. But it's I think a lot of things are gonna start churning out. You know, Disney. Disney did it with TV shows heavily, and they obviously had some movies, but their focus was on a lot of miniseries, whether Star Wars or MCU based. And DC has been trying to have everyone do a bunch of shots. We're hitting the reset button. Enjoy it. You know, the Justice Society looks amazing. It's Black Adam. I'm a huge JSA fan, so if I take, I'm a huge Hawkman fan. I love Dr. Fate.
Can't wait to see
them in movies like this. I'm just like, what? Like what a time to be alive for Golden Age and Silver Age fans.
A live action Dr. Fate is going to be brilliant.
And Pierce Brosnan, it's just, I mean, you saw that when he's like, what does he say? There's a whole world waiting for you. That's so good.
And not wait. It's going to be so good. I remember in Smallville when like she got dream glimpses of Dr. Fate, and I was just like, you're not really going to do it? Come on.
Yeah.
And now we're going to get it. So
now we're all having dream glimpses of Dr. Fate.
For sure. So the next big one up, I mean, we have Moon Knight, of course, coming out. And these are all the shows that are going to build up. I think Moon Knight is going to build even more into the horror element that is MCU. Because we are getting Werewolf by Night for Halloween.
Yep. I've actually been telling a lot of people to start reading the Werewolf by Night books, and it'll lead you into Moon Knight. And Moon Knight has a very, very solid. It's a Copper Age book, I believe, but it's a really, really, really solid solo series. If you're, I don't remember the year it came out, but it's got a purple back to it, and Moon Knight is on there, and it's all like white outfit. It's such a beautiful looking book, and that's a great story to read. I'm not even a huge Moon Knight fan, but those books, especially around the horror element, is the Moon Knight to look out for.
Sweet. All right. I'm definitely want to get more into him because I've known mostly from team ups and just more of reading. But
he's a character they can reinvent also in a lot of ways because he has a lot. Sometimes he has powers, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he's closer to Batman. Sometimes he's closer to more mystical, and it's.
Well, what do you think the idea of, because now they kicked around the idea that the possibility of maybe Ethan Hawke, it's all a ruse, and he's actually going to play Dracula. And
I didn't. Oh, that'd be cool. I didn't know that. That'd be awesome.
Like they're kind of, and it's just, again, it's all speculation by fans and such, but like they're saying that he's playing Arthur, but it's actually going to end up being Dracula.
Do it to it. That'd be great. It's Dracula. Just like in DC, Dracula has his place in Marvel, and it's always a fun element to add in because you feel like it's a crossover, right? You feel like it's a universal horror movie crossover, which it kind of is. but they just do their own take on the character. And having Blade come up, it makes complete sense.
Well, yeah,
to do that.
Blade has such a deep connection to Dracula, and that's how he got his in the comics. That's how he got his Daywalker.
Daywalker, yeah,
powers. But Werewolf by Night, his great grandfather worked for Dracula.
Right, I forgot. About that.
Like there's so many connections there that could work.
Yeah,
and it would make more sense to me to have him be Dracula, and plus it's Ethan Hawke.
It's Ethan Hawke I could see it. It's I could see him as him and Josh Hartnett. They make wonderful vampires. It's the forehead. It's got to be the forehead and jawline. I don't know.
AJ was one of the first ones to say that before they even mentioned who his character was going to be. AJ actually said, "I think he's going to be Dracula," and there has been heavy speculation since that it's kind of a ruse, and he actually is. So,
but the MCU needs a horror element, and more than just Morbius. Morbius actually, he's a very unique character in the idea that before the Morbius book came out, he appeared in Spider-Man first, obviously, but they had a certain ban against doing horror characters. And so Morbius was very innovative at the time, again, to come out for Marvel as just like a creepy vampire like that, which is just really weird because, it was right around I don't even know the date, but it's around the Werewolf by Night time. But he's just known to being like that monster, like classic monster character, bringing, Marvel back to life with that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was funny because that Morbius, if you went to and this is a couple months ago, if you went to the cast list and looked up Morbius's cast, Andrew Garfield was on there as Peter Parker.
Oh man!
And that was for like a couple of days, and then it started getting out, and then he's no longer. You can't find him anywhere.
Take it away.
So that's interesting too. So now we know Morbius is probably going to be set there. And the heavy underlying speculation is that they're going to try and go for Null and tell the story of King in Black and have everybody cross over for that again.
Yeah. Like I said, man, we're at the time in comic book movies. It was coming. It was coming for a while. It's just smoke them if you got them. Let's just have fun with it. Enjoy it. When you talk about all these different Batmans, you can go right now. Literally right now, you could go read Batman and Justice League. You could read the Future's End Batman, not Future's End Batman, but I forget what they call it. It's way in the future. And you could read Detective Comics. You could read the Batman Black Label. There's all these different storylines of Batman happening, and you don't just sit there and say, "Well, this doesn't feel connected to the other book." Some people say that, but at the same, you just enjoy them. And the greatest thing is you may not like all of them, so there's another one that will be for you. And it's a just why funnel it down to one thing, one storyline. There's so many books out there. There's just so many years of it. Just celebrate it. But to this day, if they made a bunch of Batman movies just trying to celebrate all the different Batmans, you wouldn't have enough years in your life to really be alive for all these new movies coming out, for how it takes to produce them. So just give me all you got. Not just with Batman, by the way. Just let's do it.
And I'm all for it, especially now that they're adding a TV show element to it where it's directly connected. I love Daredevil, I love Punisher, all those shows, but except one. But they're directly connected. They were kind of connected. They were not completely adopted into it, but I do love that now it is like canon, like we're getting all of that.
Yeah,
I would love to see if they bring Matt Murdock into that horror element as well, because they can. The demon, you can do so much with it, but there's so many correlations right now because in Thor you have Gore the God Butcher, who wields the sword that he got from Null.
True.
And then they're saying, who knows? Maybe Null can have a end credit scene there and set it up for all of that, and that would be such an interesting thing. Morbius setting up, another Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker, and bringing Venom into that world.
Yeah,
so we can get a lot there, and it could be interesting. So with the promises, and yes, AJ, you're absolutely right, my friend. There was a deleted scene on the DVD of Morbius, and it's sad that we didn't get it, but I do love that second one. I do love what Guillermo del Toro did. Now, let's go over real quick. Just I want to get your thoughts on Multiverse of Madness, and what do you think we're going to see? What are some of your speculations?
Yeah, that's a loaded question for sure. Let's say.
What would you like to see?
I would like to see. Okay, so let me tell you what I hope to see. I hope to see a lot of the characters that have been shifted aside, and like the Hulk, who's just kind of got neutered a little bit and put aside. And once X-Men come into play, you have Daredevil still. You honestly you have Luke Cage. I'd like to see, since all the Avengers are becoming older and kind of going on, they're kind of focusing on the young Avengers. I'd love to see them start putting the formula together for the Defenders, the real Defenders, not like the Netflix version of it, but like the one that has Doctor Strange, Hulk, Iceman, Angel, Beast, Daredevil. Sometimes I'd like to see that, because you can have a team where they collectively get together for different. They recruit different people from different teams for certain missions, and everyone's okay with it. It's kind of like it's like the kind of like NATO of all the countries. So you have all these major teams that all give their resources to this other team to do missions that the main team can't do right away. Yeah. And he's a huge part of that. And it's the Avengers has to change, right? It can't be the same. It can't be the same the way it was. And this is the direction. You don't have to call it the Defenders. Obviously, the name was taken for the Netflix show, but I just hope to see an iteration of that and a fostered version of that.
Yeah, and I'd be down for that, absolutely. One thing Kevin Feige is saying that, whereas a lot of people were saying in the beginning Captain Marvel is going to be the new head of Avengers, and I like how it's sort of turned around now, where it's like, well, we were just saying that to push the movie along.
Yeah.
When in reality, I think we really
into the ground. He means.
Yeah. You're not forcing this on us, but now Kevin Feige is saying like the future of the MCU, of the forefront, the figurehead is going to be Doctor Strange, which makes sense. He was there for a lot of the big stuff.
Yeah, I can see it.
And
they need with Jane Foster, you need a mystical. A mystical superpower who's involved in everything.
Now, do you think we're gonna lose Thor, or do you think Thor Odinson is just gonna go off on his own?
I think he'll go off on his own. There's a series actually called The Unworthy Thor, I believe, where it's kind of like his own personal quest, and they'll probably do that. Whether they just do it in a movie or he gets his own movie for it, I don't know. But it's basically him trying to figure out what the heck happened, why isn't he worthy, and how can he become worthy again, and him realizing that Jane Foster's doing this for the right reasons, and he's okay with it. Obviously, it comes back to him eventually. And,
but I mean, they're doing great stuff with it now too. Like he's actually lost the ability in comics to wield Mjolnir anymore. He's like, he can't even lift it just because he's realizing he has to be King Thor.
Yeah,
he has to move on from Mighty
He's
Thor.
Becoming Odin. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I like what they're doing with it. And it's going to come back around, because I know we're getting the Banner Wars soon with him and Hulk and Thor.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think it starts in May, so that'll be an interesting time for that to start right before Thor or Love and Thunder, and kind of see what goes on there. I definitely don't want to see Chris Hemsworth gone.
No.
Thor
he's got an element to the. Oh, geez, my cat just jumped on the desk. He's got an element to everything aside from just being Thor. Yeah, he's a great character. He's a good leader, and I think it's when I look at what the MCU has to look forward to, and they're basing it a lot off of what comics have done in the last 10, 15 years, I don't like 90% of it. Probably more than that. It's probably being generous for Marvel Comics. Mm-hmm. Ironically, Jane Foster's Thor was one of the better things, in my opinion, that came out of it. They did some other great things, but character-wise, she was something that really really switched it up a little bit, and it gave you another character to kind of read. That was really cool.
Yeah,
and it was such a turnaround for the character that, you know, when you first see the comic that came out like 2014, I remember seeing that on the shelf, and I'm like, what in the hell are they doing? You know, like, because I knew who it was. I saw who it was, and I'm just like, this is horrible. And I wish I got a bunch of them because they went up in price now.
yeah, they did such a great job with that run, and I agree with you because I was right there with you. I'm like, no, come on, you can't do that, Thor. That's not what Thor is. But then after reading it, I was like, this is okay. This makes sense, and I love this. And I love what they're doing with Thor.
Yeah,
you know, letting him go off, and
they kind of created their own, like, almost like fantasy RPG book off of it, you know. And it was good. It was okay.
So, all right. So the heavy speculation, and I want to run it by you real quick, is that we are building towards Secret Wars ultimately, and you know, it could be an event like an Infinity War Endgame event, but maybe with like 3 movies, which would make sense for that, especially if you're trying to introduce this many characters for it. But before then, it looks like what they want to do, again, all speculation, everybody, is World War Hulk movie. But basically how it would work is Hulk would be sent off to another planet, and something would happen, and he would have to come back. And by the end of it, he's coming back to Earth, ready to take him out. And the second movie would be, in that series, would be a Civil War II, where the heroes are divided on whether they have to kill Hulk or not. So it'd be like not so much a Planet Hulk movie, but like they're trying to push World War Hulk in a Civil War II.
Man, like fighting amongst each other, trying to decide if you got to kill Hulk. Talk about like a really decision you got to figure out quick.
Yeah.
And you need to figure out with minimal casualties because you're going to need everyone to work together. I could. I don't see them doing a large Hulk scenario like that. Is it confirmed?
Well, World War Hulk is.
Okay.
And so like now the rumor mill is swirling, and some of the leaked rumors are coming from sources that are, you know, pretty well popular with this and have been correct in the past with other things.
If I had to guess, they're obviously going more cosmic with things. A World War Hulk would probably be a World War not on Earth, maybe within another planet. And that's where you can get some of the cosmic entities into it, like, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy, stuff like that. That's probably how I would see them doing it. If you do something crazier down here, though, obviously you could. What a way to tie in a situation where you need Namor and the Atlanteans. There's a lot of things you can do. It's hard for me to see the Hulk being anything besides like a dork eating tacos, you know. But like, it's because of what they did to him. I love the Hulk; he's a great character, but it's hard for me to picture anything else. But
well, supposedly they're going back. He's not going to be Professor Hulk going forward.
Okay, well, that's a good thing.
He might show up in She-Hulk as Professor Hulk only through certain flashbacks and such.
Okay. Then okay. Well, hopefully I truly hope that happens. I truly hope it happens.
Because at the end of Shang-Chi, remember, he's back to Bruce Banner.
You know what's fun? I never saw Shang-Chi.
Oh, go watch it. It's good. Yeah. It's so much fun. Yeah,
it's again, the MCU's lost me a little bit. I'm trying to. I haven't seen the Eternals yet either. Which is weird. I'm a Black Knight fan. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but I don't know. It's hard for me to. I think that these newer movies are gonna pull me back in, but I need to do it. I'm not defending not watching them. I should watch them, especially because I appreciate it, and it's, you know, I can
do a double feature, my friend, and I would love to hear what you think about them for sure.
Yeah, no, I will. Shang-Chi, we debated actually watching it this weekend. We did debate it. I mean, the guy was like, "Oh, you know, we could watch Shang-Chi. It's a great time to do it." You know, instead we watched a baking show.
Please tell me it's a great British baking show.
Dude, we watched the hell out of that show. But dude, this show's great. Okay, actually, it was one of the last Showboys episodes I was on. They did like a round table of like, what are you watching? and Mike completely forgot me. And he always like tries to like catch us like 10 seconds after he's done recording. And then as soon as it came back on, I'm like, since you never asked me, I'm watching Batman the Animated Series. I said something else, and I was like, in the Great British Baking Show. Yeah, and then
it's such a great show.
I should have just threw my mic across the table at that point, but
we watched that, and I suggest everybody watch it because it's a good show that's not based on cutthroat or anything like that.
Everyone's so nice.
Oh, and they cheer for each other. It's great.
And the Christmas episodes are phenomenal.
Yeah.
I can't. It's.
My wife asks constantly. She's like, "Is the new season out?" I was like, "No, not until later this year." Like we're all caught up, so it's like,
yeah.
Great. And now AJ's asking, do you think we'll see a Galactus before or after Secret Wars?
I would vote afterwards, but I think you'll see hints to him beforehand.
Yeah, especially if we get a Fantastic Four movie before, which we will.
Secret Wars gives you a chance for a couple of different things. Okay, it allows you to, after you saw how there was a little bit of the Venom symbiote left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's obviously you can get on Peter Parker. And that's perfect for Secret Wars. He first has his encounter with the symbiote in issue 8 of Secret Wars, I believe. And he uses that to get through a lot of the fights that they go in. And it's all brand new to him. Because if you're wondering, like, why in the hell did Venom go there just to get taken back right away? Well, that's probably it. So there will be a Secret Wars. I guarantee it. Will it be heavily like a Skrull versus, I forget the other race, battle? Maybe not. It could be they throw a bunch of people from different Earths together and they have to fight it out.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Secret Wars was. It wasn't just, Skrulls battling or anything like that. It was, there were some fake people hidden in there and stuff, but it was really just everyone battling each other because they all had their own reasons to get through it.
I kind of feel like they're going to bring the Secret Wars 2 into it a bit to open it up to the other dimensions. To open up the multiverse in total, so that way you can get Toby back, you can get Andrew Garfield back, and everybody else variants that we like to see.
Yeah,
which would be interesting and a lot of fun. Now, kind of wrap things up. I just want to first off, just to say, I'm glad that you mentioned that Spider-Man. That's where he gets the symbiote because my kid just read Absolute Carnage.
Oh, nice.
He's read Venom before comics, and he's seen the movies, so like. He never really got into where did the symbiote come from. To him, it's like what Spider-Man 3 basically said. He's in the animated series. So he's kind of like, all right, so this is it. I was like, no. So when he read it and Spider-Man's like, no, I'm staying, I'm fighting. The symbiote's here because of me. It's my fault.
Yeah.
I brought him here from Battleworld. And like, my kid's just like, wait, why is Spider-Man at fault here? Like, how did this? And I was like, all right, I got to go buy my copy of Secret Wars, which is out of print, by the way, and costs an astronomical sum.
Yeah.
So if you can find it, guys, get it. But
issue 8 is usually the most expensive one because of that being a key issue like that. But the other ones around it are, they're still up there.
The good old days when I actually had the single issues. But
Mick, I gotta say, man, if your kid loves Marvel and superheroes, Spider-Man, and there's a game I actually play with my fiance's son. It's called Battle World. It's made by Funko, and there's these things called Battle Balls. You go buy them, and it comes with a random hero, and it comes with like 3 locations, and you battle the locations, and you unlock another random hero. It's in a little little crystal. It's called Thanos Stone, and if you have 2 Battle Balls, you can play it cooperatively. And you unlock those new characters. Okay, so you can always go back and play it cooperatively. But there's different elements. There's Series 1 that was out. There's Series 2 that's out, and Series 3 is about to come out. But it's called Marvel Battle World. I'll text you the link. So
please
you can see them. It's a cooperative game. I won't lie to you. There's some nights where I'm like, I'll pour a whiskey and I'll just run a quick solo game of it. And it's like it's meant for kids, but it's so much fun. It has people like you can be Werecap in it. You could be Lady Octopus. There's Agent Venom's in it. There's everything, man. There's so many different random characters, and it's completely cooperative. You can even buy a Thanos ship that has like a scenario element to the game.
Speaking of Agent Venom,
There you go, right there. Yeah, at the Thunderbolts one.
That
The red.
is the Thunderbolts one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
the red.
Nice. That's it. That's right. No. But yeah, I'll send you a link to that. If you like it, man, honestly, I got some extra figures I'll send you too.
Oh man, the kids would absolutely adore, and I think I would too. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to check this out.
It's like a kids game. It's so much freaking fun.
Nice.
So I had to plug it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate doing this. We need to get back because I know we talked about doing it for Peacemaker, and just like time was just like going crazy.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of comic book stuff coming up. Love to have you back on, man. And just
you tell me when and where, man. I love chatting about comic books anytime. I'll be in better lighting next time, and we'll it won't be like a crazy character, but we'll make it happen, man. We'll talk and dig deep, and it's always fun.
Yes, absolutely, man. And as we go on, we got more and more stuff. Maybe we'll plan something for Moon Knight too, so that way,
let's do it.
We can because that's only 6 episodes, so I'd love to run that down.
Let's do it. Yeah, I mean, there's Moon Knight has so much for me to explore as a comic book fan that like I love. Like so, real quick with Peacemaker, I loved watching the show because like the bad guys were never in the comics. Vigilante's way different than the comics. Peacemaker's an amalgam of different times in comics. So I had no idea what the hell was going to happen. It's so much fun. You know what I mean? Like it's just you don't know what they're going to do or how they're going to do it. And Moon Knight, it's also it looks like it's doing a small amalgam of his different runs too. So it's like it's fun as someone who loves comic books. I can like just not be like, oh, this is definitely going to happen. I get to just experience it. It's like I don't know, it's fun. So I would love to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it like that said, like everything that's kind of gone on, like we see these filmmakers are actual fans.
Yeah.
You can tell just through the work and the stories they're telling. So I'm absolutely on board with that. So I will definitely hit you up and let's plan something out for Moonlight. And I'm sure we'll get Casey back to talk about Batman and what he thought.
Yeah, honestly, we might have to do one more show just to follow up real quick on it. Just at least a little plug on a show.
Let him just put out the spoilers for sure.
Yep.
But, all right, man. Thank you so much for hopping on.
Absolutely.
I want to thank everybody for watching. Remember, guys, go check out scenesnobs.com. Got an all-new site. I just fixed it up today, so enjoy it. Go check out our Discord. We're talking about things there. AJ's actually runs the Discord, so like he's taking care of things, and it all looks awesome. And everybody who's a collector or just a geek in general will have a good time. All the links are on thescenesnobs.com. Follow us on Instagram, all that stuff for other stuff, and you know the deal. But until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan, Scene Snob. Thank you for joining me, Jordan Hoffey. Go check out this Showboys podcast. It's Thursday nights, right? At 9.
Thursday nights, yeah, and Sunday nights to do the newscast updates. That's
right, yeah. I stole you away from that, but
or is it coming out? I don't do a whole lot of those, to be honest with you.
Fair. But we're looking forward to having you back on, man, and talk about it. And I can't wait to check out Battle World. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
But all right, until next time, everybody, I will talk to you guys later. Take care.
Peace out.
Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. I'm the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan. You can check out the Scene Snobs Podcast live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel or all podcast platforms afterwards. Also on our YouTube channel, you can check out great shows like Real Combat, the ultimate debate show for movie lovers, mixed movie picks with new recommendations every week, Geek Fest live every Sunday night, and new movie reviews and news all the time. Like and subscribe, then hit the notification bell so you know when all of our new episodes drop. Thank you so much to all of our amazing Patreon supporters, with whom this would not be possible. They help keep the lights on and support us in such big ways. If you would like to become a supporter on our Patreon and take advantage of all the perks like monthly giveaways, early access, and so much more, head on over to the Scene Snobs Patreon page and just sign up on one of our 2 tiers. Join our awesome community of geeks, movie lovers, and so much more, and join up on our Discord. The Scene Snobs Discord is now live, and you can head over to thescenesnobs.com for links to there and more. The Scene Snobs merch store is now open with original fun designs that are available on all different types of merch and apparel. Check out thescenesnobsmerch.com. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media accounts like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so many more. We have fun updates, topics, we talk about collectibles, and so much more on there. It's a great time. You can find all of our links to everything on thescenesnobs.com or on our link tree, which are down in the descriptions below. Thanks again, everyone. Stay tuned and stay geeky.